Hello, hello. This is Yuri of Moving Sales Professionals and Let's Talk Moving podcast. And with me today, I have Mark Hartmann with Mergers and Acquisitions Advisor and an author of books Sweat, Equity, and Pay. How you doing today, Mark?
Great, Yuri. Thanks for having me on today.
Great. Thanks for joining me. So, Mark, how did you get started in this field?
M&A and business brokerage is a second act for me. I built previously and scaled and sold my own insurance tech-enabled business. I sold back in 2017 after the company had been on the Inc. 5000 list three times, fastest growing companies in America. I was 42 years old, and I said, "Geez, I gotta figure something to do here." And I had always planned that this was going to be my transition, exit planning and mergers and acquisitions work, valuations, et cetera, et cetera. And it's been a great ride ever since.
Awesome, awesome. So you got the chance to go on vacation a lot.
You
Something
know,
that all of us aspire to.
it's funny. My line of work does suit itself, believe it or not, to be able to work remotely. So, I can't deny that I've closed a deal on a cruise ship.
Yeah, yeah, but I could say the same thing. I can't tell you how many times I pulled off a highway just to book a client. So absolutely,
Same thing.
I can hear that. So tell me a little bit. Obviously, you sold your own business. You work with helping other people sell their businesses, etc. So price versus terms. Tell me about that.
This is like the age-old question, right? So
Mhm.
I'm going to break this down simply for everybody who's listening, right? Um, Price is what you brag about to the guys at the country club, right? You're sitting around the coffee shop talking to guys. This is what you brag about. I got X number of dollars for my business. But in all reality, terms is what you keep. Right? Because
Sure.
if the terms aren't structured the right way, you may not end up keeping as much as you really need to, right? And there's all sorts of things that have to be negotiated. And having the right advisory team, not just an M&A advisor like myself, but having a great accountant and who's got expertise in deals and having a transaction attorney will pay dividends like you can't believe. So build the right team so that you understand and know before you even get to your first letter of intent when you're going to sell your business, really what price and more importantly, what terms are, most important to you and make sure that your team of professionals has given you the right wisdom and guidance to know how to navigate the tricky process of selling your business.
And now for a word from our sponsors. If you're a moving business owner, you may have already heard of Moversville, an email marketing service that helps moving companies increase, repeat, and referral business. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services that cater specifically to the moving industry. You can find companies that provide moving software, moving sales services, marketing services, moving equipment providers, and much, much more. Visit moversville.com today to learn more.
Okay, sure, sure. Now, of course, we're talking about business and product marketability, same way that we here at Moving Sales Professional market your moving company to your prospective client, right? So, how do you sell for more? What makes your product, or in this case, your moving company, more attractive to a potential buyer?
So that's a tough one, right? So I'll start with the most obvious, which is clean up your books, right? And sure, everybody tells me, they got their QuickBooks all set up, this, that, and the other thing. But, sit down with your accountant and say, I want to go from managing for tax to managing and understanding how it's going to look when I try to sell my business. So clean up the books is the number one thing. And generally, that could take a couple of years depending on how your bookkeeping's set up, who's doing the bookkeeping, um, where the cash is being reported, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's an important thing. The other thing too is I talk about de-risking, right? So de-risk your business, right? If the business can't survive without you, it's a problem, right? When it comes to selling, because a business buyer isn't going to want you to stick around. They're buying your business generally to stand in your shoes, right? I'm going to buy your company, I'm going to buy your moving company, and I'm going to replace you as the president or the CEO of the company. So I want you out,
Unless,
and
of
if
course, it's somebody that's new to the industry and they need to
correct,
learn about your business from you.
100%, yeah. You'll have that transition, right? So if I was a financial investor, right, and I was buying, a company, a moving company, and I came from Wall Street, You're going to have to teach me the business, but over a period of time. It's not going to be forever. So I talk a lot with business owners about de-risk your business, owner dependency, key employee dependency, and key vendor dependency. It's wildly important that the business be transferable to a new owner, and that the new owner sees, well, geez, it's not really dependent on a key supplier. It's not really dependent on a key employee. It's not really dependent on the owner. I can come in and run it the way I want over time, right?
Right,
Comes in and
there's going
buys
to
a
be a transition because you're as a new
100%,
per you don't want to change something in the immediate
100.
because you're going to ruin the product that's already existing. You're going to ruin the that clock that's running, that's ticking the right way, ticking. So you have to learn it, you have to adjust it, and then slowly start changing it to the way that you see it working, for example. Assuming it's the way to go in the first
Right.
place.
Absolutely right. Unless you're in a turnaround situation, probably the first several months, maybe even the first year, very minimal changes, right? When you're buying a business, right? You're buying the business because you like the business model, you like the industry, right? Why would you mess with the recipe? It's like buying the recipe to Twinkies and immediately the next day changing the recipe. You may have just destroyed the entire market. So don't do that if you're a business buyer listening on today, because you're going to find yourself in a bit of trouble unless you're in a turnaround situation.
Does your company need more creative marketing and ad campaigns to improve traffic and organic leads? Well, Moving Sales Professionals has a solution for you. We have partnered with social media marketing agency that has over 300 million views on their ads and videos across social media, and they have generated over $35 million for their clients over the last 10 years alone. Their services include content creation, social media ads, pay-per-click campaigns, website and funnel development, Google Ads, email marketing campaigns, lead generation, and much, much more. For limited time only, they have discounted rates for their services. Sign up for a free consultation call with us via our Calendly link on our website or below this video.
Sure. So what can you offer to a moving company owner that's looking to sell?
So that's a great question. My process is start with a sellability assessment evaluation, right? It's a simple process, and it really answers one question, which is, how sellable is your business and what it's worth, right? And it'll give you the roadmap to fix things if you're going to say, look, I don't want to sell today, Mark, but I want to sell next year. Well, that gives you a few months this year to work on some things in your business that'll make your business much more valuable potentially and easier to sell. So I offer a sellability analysis. I think that's the best place to start. It's a simple process. It's a 1 hour and 15-minute interview plus a review of your financial statements. And at the end of that, you're going to know your number and how quick your business is going to sell. And that starts a good chain as thinking about selling your business, because now you can go and say, well, I can meet with my financial advisor and go, well, if I have this amount of money, can I retire? Does it make sense?
Right. And of course, one of the big things, going back to what you said earlier about, cleaning up your books and whatever, keep in mind when we're running the business, obviously there's things that we're writing off. There's things that we're doing that are going to keep our, for tax purposes and what have you, keep our profits low, right? So when you're trying to sell a business, you're trying to go in the opposite direction. And of course, the new person that's coming in to buy a business, they're going to want to see the books for the past 3 years. So when you're talking about uh, building up a product that somebody's going to want to buy, they want to see that your business is profitable. So if all you've done up to this point, while you are certainly profitable, if all you've done at this point, you've written things off left and right to make sure that you pay less in taxes, maybe you get some money back, maybe you claim a loss, maybe you do whatever you need to do, right? To keep your stuff operating the way you need it to be operating, right? Here you have to go the opposite direction. You need to show the numbers. So that's why we're talking about building something that's going to be that will take to potentially 2 to 3 years because most of the potential buyers are going to want to see taxes for the past 3 years. They're not going to ask for six, but they are going to ask for three.
Hands down, you're 100% right. And that's something that most people don't want to have that discussion, right? And I often flip the script with them and I say, listen, if you were buying your business, what would you demand from the seller?
Right. And the other part too is that so now these next 3 years, you're actually going to have to pay out the wazoo for the taxes and everything else because now you're trying to show your biggest profit and then hopefully in the process not get audited by the IRS, which could happen as well because they're like, okay, well, this is nothing changed in how you do things, but now you have, 300 to half a million, $1 million, $5 million in profit that you're showing that you didn't show before. Where did that other money go?
Yeah, that's something to
Yeah.
obviously discuss with your accountant,
Right.
right?
So that's a
I have
delicate
some
balance.
I have some strategies that I've heard about, but I'm not a CPA. But I know enough smart CPAs that can help with that as well. But you're right, it's 100% a delicate balance. And, every time there's an add back, right? So we look at your financials and then we add back sellers' discretionary items, right? So the company, as your CEO of the company, president of the company, you need a company car to go out and visit jobs and whatnot. Totally understandable. You probably don't need a Lamborghini though,
Right.
right? So we have to recast. And every time we do a recasting, it opens the door to a discussion with the buyer about, well, do I believe these books or not? Right? So I want to see books that, are as minimal recasting as possible. It's going to happen. It's natural, right? We're going to have to do some add backs. But things that are really on there, the family vacations and lots of meals and things like that, you may want to be reconsidering that like, leading up to the sale.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So, in terms of what do you see as the future of selling, not selling? What should we all be looking towards? Or should we looking for a backup plan? Okay, sell this and have something aligned to go into something else.
Everybody's situation's different, right?
Sure.
I talked a little bit about before about build your deal team, right? Your
Hmm.
M&A advisor slash business broker, your accountant, and your transaction attorney. There's really one more person as part of your deal team, but doesn't really work on the deal, and that's a financial advisor and
I was
making
gonna
sure
say the wife, but
well, so that's the ultimate decision maker in some cases, right? But the deal team having a financial advisor and understanding your financial plan, I think is very important. The one thing I'll say is every business owner will exit their business. Either you're going to go out vertically or you're going to go out horizontally, right? Nobody gets out of
yeah,
this life alive. So understand and have a plan, right? And be smart about it. Having succession planning, having an exit strategy, having an exit plan in place is just good business planning because we don't know when one of the 5 Ds, right? Death, disability, downturn in the economy, divorce, or partnership disagreement. We don't know when one of those is going to come hit on us, right? And when they do, geez, man, that could be painful. And if your business is not set up the right way, you could really find yourself in a whole lot of trouble with a business that may not be valuable. So I always talk to people about, plan ahead, be smart about it, and know that when the time comes to sell, that you've got it financially figured out with your financial advisor, and then what you're going to do next, right? If you're 70 years old, it might be the golf course. If you're 50 years old, it might be real estate or another occupation. But have that plan ready to go. I think that's the what's next always discussion when I'm talking with business owners.
sure. So, guys, we're gonna make sure we have Mark's information here so you can reach out to him if you are looking to sell your business, if you are looking to make a change, something to talk about. So we're gonna have make sure we have links, we have everything there that you can check everything out. Of course, please like, subscribe to our podcast. And like I always say, the world moves on its own, so let the professionals move yours for you. Thank you very much for joining us, Mark.
Hey, Eric, one last thing. Can I interject here?
Yes, of course.
So from the time this goes live, I'll honor for 30 days. I'll give anybody who reaches out to me, I'll mail them a copy of my book signed. Just has to, reach out to me. You can connect with me on my website at Hartman Roads, HartmannRhodes.com, and say, I saw you on Yuri's program and I want a copy of the book, and I'll send out a complimentary copy to them as my thank you,
Of
Yuri,
course, I'm on
to your
first one in
listeners.
that line, right, Mark?
Absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely.
great. So once again, thank you very much, and we'll talk again
Thank you.
soon. Thank you for joining us for the podcast.